Nice to meet you, Tom. Thanks very much for coming down.
Yeah, thank you.
So obviously I've had these up today. It's my first time hearing them. And I was really surprised because they just feel like a normal speaker to mix on in a way. And I don't mean that negatively. I mean, I was really surprised. It just felt very balanced and there was no like weird boxiness or anything like that you sometimes get with other products of this ilk. But it had all that kind of super fast transient detail that you would rely on for a product like this.
Yeah, I think to me transients is the most important thing.
Yeah, sure. And like it's quite funny as well because you challenged me earlier about how you can hear the tiniest amount of compression.
Yeah.
And literally attack and release. And for me, I'm not the world's best mix engineer by any means. I sometimes play with like the release knob on a compressor and I'm kind of like, I'm not even sure if that's doing anything. It's crazy. And it absolutely stuck out a mile on these. So I'm really impressed. And I think there's probably 3 people in this office now who want to buy it there, which is really nice. So tell us a little bit about the build then. Like what's your choice with the driver and even things like the colour and
So, I mean, starting about the finish, it sticks out. A friend of mine said, can I have a red pair?
Okay.
This is like when I was still like prototyping. So
sure.
He was helping me tune stuff. He's an audio engineer as well, and he said I want a red pair. So I was like, okay, I'll try and make a red pair. I've got my clear paint. I didn't like any red colours on the market.
Right.
It's quite hard to find a good red. So I got some clear paint, got some makeup powder, the red makeup powder with like slight shimmer to it and a red pigment. Mixed those two together, slapped on the speaker, and it just popped immediately. That kind of, I was like, they look great. Let's call it the Angry Box. Sealed enclosure, helping with the transients.
Of course.
And a 4-inch paper cone.
Yeah.
And a 60-watt Class D amplifier.
Lots of power for a speaker this size. And certainly, as you say, I think if you were to be crazy and whack a subwoofer on these or something, they would be mental.
Speaker technology's come a long way in the last 30, 40 years. Class D amplifiers have got shockingly good. Drivers have got, you get really sensitive drivers now. And I wanted to bring some of this technology into a small format studio monitor.
I don't think anyone's really done before. Do you know what I mean? There are obviously the similar kind of mixed cube type products and things like that, but they're all very analog passive and that kind of thing. I know there are now other active products out there as well, but yeah, it's really impressive. And actually one of the things I've found, again, having had a little go on them, is despite the frequency response that you're showing for them, they feel like they go somewhat lower than that. The vast majority of speakers that we sell are 3, 4, 5, up to about £10,000, and I think it's definitely weighted towards the top of that with your ATCs, PMCs, Ex Machina, Amphion, brands like that. And what's really nice is that we've got a speaker at this price point, I think it's £569, that will sit alongside those really nicely and complement them. Not take away from anything they're doing. It's not going to sound weird next to them because it has, as you quite rightly managed, a fairly flat frequency response. And it's going to just achieve some things that none of those speakers are quite managing. They're all, those are great speakers, but by the nature of the very design, they're not going to be as fast. The phase isn't going to be as good necessarily as a one driver speaker.
Yeah. Well, you can get incredible phase and transient response from those speakers.
And they're all handmade, right?
They're all made in,
assembled at least,
Yeah. I mean, we're literally gluing boxes together ourselves, and we're hand painting the speakers as well. How long we're going to do that for, we'll see, because I don't want to get RSI.
Brutal.
But yeah, I mean, one of the benefits is it is a small speaker, and if we manufacture the boxes ourselves, then we know.
You can guarantee everything that's gone into it. You can QC it properly, and then full support it.
Yeah.
Well, thanks very much for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Great to talk to you, and best of luck with the product.
Thanks.